A very, very big deal? Trump unveils a new US-UK trade chapter. The White House has announced a new trade arrangement with the United Kingdom. President Trump hailed this as a very, very big development. He described it as a full and comprehensive deal. This certainly sounds like a landmark achievement. It suggests a major shift in how our two nations will do business. Many people are eager to understand what this means for the economy. We are told this is just the beginning of a series of ongoing talks. These future discussions aim to build an even stronger partnership. However, when you look closer, the initial reports paint a slightly different picture. Sources suggest this current agreement is more limited. It appears to be a selective pact, not quite the sweeping overhaul implied. Think of it as a first step, a foundational move. It lays the groundwork for what could become a much larger agreement later on. The idea is that this initial deal will pave the way for more detailed negotiations. These future talks will be critical. They will truly define the long-term trade relationship between these close allies. Beyond the handshake. What tariff changes are actually on the table? Let's delve into the specifics of this new US-UK trade deal. A key component of any trade agreement involves tariffs. Tariffs are essentially taxes on imported goods. This deal brings several important changes to these taxes. One notable adjustment is a reduction in tariffs on cars imported from the United Kingdom. This should make British cars more competitive in the American market. Similarly, the agreement includes lower tariffs on airplanes exported from the United States to the UK. These changes are designed to boost trade in these specific high-value sectors. A particularly significant part of this agreement concerns the steel and aluminum industries. These sectors have been at the heart of many global trade discussions recently. The deal outlines a complete elimination of US tariffs on steel and aluminum products coming from the United Kingdom. For instance, the existing 25% tariff on UK steel is reportedly set to be negotiated down to zero. This would offer substantial relief to the UK steel industry. It could provide a much-needed boost for producers and workers in that sector across the pond. Picking winners. Which sectors get a slice of the new trade pie? When a new trade deal is struck, the immediate question is often, who benefits? This US-UK agreement is no different. It appears designed to provide advantages to specific economic sectors in both countries. For the United Kingdom, the luxury car market is a clear potential winner. Think of brands like Rolls-Royce, Bentley, or Jaguar Land Rover. A reduction in US tariffs, even with a quota, could make these iconic vehicles more accessible and appealing to American buyers. This could translate into increased sales and a healthier bottom line for these manufacturers. On the American side, the deal aims to open doors for US exports heading to the UK. One specific area highlighted is agriculture. Reports suggest that the agreement could create a market in the United Kingdom valued at around $5 billion for US farmers and agricultural producers. This is a significant figure. It could provide a welcome boost for the American agricultural sector. Greater access to UK consumers for products like grain, meat, or specialty crops could mean new revenue streams and stronger economic footing for rural communities across the United States. Section 4. The fine print, unresolved issues, and lingering skepticism. While the announcement of the US-UK trade deal has generated positive headlines, it's important to look at what's not included. Several significant issues remain unresolved between the two nations. One major point of contention is the United Kingdom's digital services tax. This tax targets the revenue of large multinational technology companies, many of which are American. The current limited agreement does not address this issue. This means further, potentially difficult negotiations will be necessary to find common ground on this complex modern economic challenge. Another key aspect to consider is the continuation of baseline US tariffs. These apply to a wide range of products imported from the United Kingdom. Although specific items like steel, aluminum, and a quota of cars will see tariff relief, many other British goods will still face these existing import taxes. This limits the overall scope of free trade achieved by the current deal. It highlights that the path to a truly comprehensive trade relationship, the kind initially trumpeted, involves more extensive discussions and concessions from both sides. Section 5. Setting a precedent, how this deal could reshape global trade rules. This trade agreement between the United States and the United Kingdom, despite its current limitations, could have implications far beyond their bilateral relationship. It might serve as a strategic blueprint for future pacts. Other countries looking to negotiate new trade terms with the US or revise existing ones will undoubtedly study this deal closely. They will look for clues about the US administration's approach and priorities in trade discussions. This could influence how future negotiations are structured with other global partners, from Europe to Asia. The specific nature of the US-UK deal also brings up important questions. How does it align with established international trade regulations? There are ongoing discussions about how well this selective agreement fits within the rules of the World Trade Organization. The WTO generally favors broader, non-discriminatory trade agreements that reduce barriers for all members. A deal that picks winners and focuses on specific sectors or uses quotas might attract scrutiny. The way this deal was negotiated could also influence broader global trade norms and practices, potentially setting new precedents. Section 6. From Downing Street to Main Street. What does this mean for ordinary people? Trade deals can often seem abstract, full of jargon about tariffs and quotas, but they can have very real impacts on everyday life. So what does this US-UK trade agreement mean for ordinary people in both countries? For American consumers, the most direct impact might be on the price and availability of certain British goods. If you've been eyeing a new British luxury car, the reduced tariffs could make it slightly more affordable, at least for the first 100,000 units. However, for many other UK products, the persisting 10% baseline tariff means prices might not change much. For American businesses, especially in sectors like agriculture, this deal could be good news. The promise of a $5 billion new market in the UK for US farmers is significant. This could mean increased sales for agricultural businesses, potentially leading to more stable incomes for farmers and job security in rural communities. Small and medium-sized enterprises that export to the UK in the favored sectors might also find it easier to compete. However, businesses in sectors not covered by the specific tariff reductions might not see any immediate advantage. Section 7. The long road ahead. Is this the start of a beautiful trade friendship? This initial US-UK trade pact, while presented with fanfare, is clearly just one step on a much longer journey. President Trump's very big announcement signals ambition. Yet the details reveal a more modest, carefully targeted agreement. The true significance of this deal will likely be determined by what happens next. Both countries have stated that this is the beginning of ongoing negotiations. These future talks will be crucial in shaping a more comprehensive and lasting economic partnership between these two historic allies. Many unresolved issues still need to be addressed. The UK's digital services tax remains a sticking point for the United States. The broad baseline tariffs on many UK goods entering the US are still in place. These are not small matters. They will require careful negotiation and a willingness from both sides to make compromises. Building a truly full and comprehensive trade relationship, as initially described, will take time, effort, and political will. The current deal provides a foundation, but the main structure is yet to be built.